Yeah, I'm Steve Kim from Project Kinship, and yeah, I may be in the wrong place because I'm from Orange County. I thought Carson was Orange County, so here I am. I'm just kidding. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here today. For me, I wanted to share a little bit about the work that we do. We started in 2014, and this is our 10-year anniversary, and it was two people with a vision and a heart to serve people who have impacted by incarceration, gangs, and violence. And so, long story short, we went from 2 people to today we're at 135 people. We're in 36 schools. We're in the adult jails, we're in the juvenile halls, and running around with like chickens with their heads cut off. And what I want to share is the reason why we started this work is because in the beginning we wanted to understand what trauma looked like. We know that 100% of people that we work with, there are 2 common things for folks who've been impacted by violence, incarcerations, and gangs. And 2 of the things I've seen over the years is one is hopelessness falls in, but the other one that was interesting over the 10 years is to see what happens to folks when their dignity disappears. When you have hopelessness and a lack of dignity, we see that's a very dangerous combination. And one day I was doing a training, I was going to talk about trauma, and I was like, I know trauma isolates, but what rhymes with isolates? And I was driving, I go, oh, exfoliate rhymes with isolates. So if you can use it, but it came from me. Trauma isolates, healing exfoliates, right? So then I'm like, what the heck is exfoliate? So what does it mean to exfoliate? Get rid of, right? What do you think I was thinking when I was thinking about healing exfoliates? What does it exfoliate? It starts with an S and an H. It's not shit, but what do you think that it exfoliates? Shame. And if you've ever experienced that deep sense of shame, or I work with people who have experienced deep shame, you know that the core of that person's life when they look in the mirror is not what happened to you, it's what's wrong with you, right? As you all know, the book, The Body Keeps the Score, yes? Right? I want to add to it, I feel like the body keeps the score, but the soul carries its weight. And what I've seen with folks that have carried deep shame, healing always happens in community. Anyone have a rough time during COVID? Yeah, I sure did. I've never in my life had a breakdown, and I share this now because I just feel like I should share it. And when COVID was happening, there was about 3 weeks where I couldn't get out of bed. And I never had that happen in my entire life. And it was the type of thing where you're like, I just don't want to go to work. And so my wife would tell me go to work, and I'm like, I'm working remote. And one day she says, Steve, you're going to go to work today. And I remember laying in bed, we got a toy poodle over COVID, about this big, and I was hugging my poodle, and she's like, you're going to work. I'm like, I'm not going to work today. And she freaking pulls the covers up over my legs, grabs me by my ankles, and she's pulling me out of bed. And I was like, please don't make me go to work. And she goes, Steve, she goes, I got you. She goes, you're going to get dressed, you're going to go in your car, and you're going to call me. And what happened on that day, she led me from red light to red light to red light to red light until I got to work. And I remember that day thinking what's wrong with me? I can't my body just shut down because of the stress. That time Project Kinship was growing to 100 and something people. You all know the challenges of COVID as service providers, and I thought, I can't do it. And I had shame, I was embarrassed. And I learned something very valuable during that season. I learned that when your body shuts down, it's scary, but when your mind shuts down, it's even scarier. And I remember going to work, and she said, you know what, Steve, you're going to walk into the office. And I had vertigo, I had long haulers COVID, and I'm like, I can't walk into the office, everything's spinning. And she goes, you're going to walk in the office. And as I was walking into the office, I had her on speakerphone. I remember walking into Project Kinship and seeing the folks that I work with. And it reminded me as I walked in, we have a director named Maddie. And when we hired her from the beginning, she always used to say, I love you to everybody from the get-go. I'm like, Maddie, do you know that person? She goes, no. I go, why do you tell them I love them? She goes, they need to know. I go, you can't say that to people. And what happens, the UPS person comes in and she tells him she loves him, and the craziest thing happens. When he walks out, he doesn't smile at anybody else, but he'll whisper quietly to Maddie, I love you too. So I see you can keep saying it. So anyways, when I walk in, I see Maddie's face, and she goes, I love you. And I was like, oh my God. And I walked from staff to staff to staff as something different happened that day as people connected. And I have learned that in our deepest times and our deepest struggles, that connection always leads to healing. And so over the years at Project Kinship, we have learned that community is important and connection is where it's at. And so that's really the heartbeat of our work. And so like I mentioned real quick, 36 schools, 6 districts. We have a couple in LA, which we really didn't want to go to, but we're here. We're working with the OC Sheriff's Department, probation, took over the juvenile hall program. We're in every unit, working with almost every individual coming through. Every individual is being incarcerated. They see our staff as they come out. We have a lobby in the IRC, and we've grown. But what we really focused on is healing. We focused on meeting people where they're at and helping folks find their dignity and providing a community of kinship so that people can heal. And so I'm going to step back a little bit. I did have a video. We spent some money on it, so I always try to show it. So if I may, I have a 6-minute video I want to show you also. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
Welcome to Kinship, where judgment and pain are left at the door. You are home. My name's Steve Kim. I'm the co-founder and executive director of Project Kinship. Project Kinship started in Orange County because we wanted to create a space where those impacted by gangs, incarceration, and violence could find community. And we've come a long ways. We're going to hit 10 years next year, and we've grown from 2 staff to 120 staff now. We have our school programming, doing restorative practices, and working with youth who are falling into the school to prison pipeline. We're in juvenile hall, doing individual work, kids who are in the court system, who are getting incarcerated. We're doing groups in juvenile hall, and we're also in the adult jails. Every person who comes out of the county jail will see our face as we have a booth to help folks.
We are right now at the IRC, which is better known as the Intake and Release Center at the Orange County Jail.
So when somebody walks in through the doors, right, we see if they have their paperwork, so we'll know somebody's getting released. So what we do is we get up, hey, how you doing? My name's Javier. I work for Project Kinship, and this is what the resources we got to offer.
You know, we do a lot to help people when they're in our custody, but really where the difficult point for these individuals is when they walk out the doors, and that's really what Project Kinship is there to do. They have people that have gone through the same experiences, that understand the system, that know how to help these people get their feet back on the ground and to get their life back in order. And so it's really filled a spot that we weren't able to provide. I know if it was one of my family members that was walking out these doors, I brought Project Kinship there to lend them a hand.
Just keep on. Because if people gave up on us or somebody gave up on us, where would we be at? You know, what chances we have? We'd be repeating ourselves coming in and out. So it's a good thing, it's a blessing.
The core and heartbeat of our services are hiring the community to serve the community back.
My name is Raymond Sanchez. I am the Director of Peer Navigation and Culture. A lot of the traumas that I was experiencing at a young age, I was shot at 16 years old, I was shot at 18 years old, I was shot at 23 years old. And unfortunately that led me to a path of drugs, incarceration, which landed me to do a 10-year sentence. I would tell my 16-year-old self that you deserve to be loved. You are loved, and challenges will arise, and people will be there to assist you and help you through these challenges. Just trust in the process. I believe it's a critical piece to have an individual with lived experience and just having somebody walk with you, because we're so used to being by ourselves, and having somebody there to lean back on really makes a big difference.
Hi, my name is Margarita, and I'm peer navigator here at Project Kinship. I did grow up in a good family until about age 14. My dad started using again, and that kind of put us down to us getting evicted from our houses, my mom leaving me and taking all my siblings away from me, going to a shelter home, being around neighborhoods, doing stuff that I didn't want to do. I was actually in juvenile, and I received a FaceTime call from Steve, and one of the first questions that Steve asked me was, "Tell me about yourself." And I haven't gotten asked that in I don't even know how long. I know a lot of people come out with a lot of baggage, and once they come in through those doors, everybody at Project Kinship just takes a bag and you want to go in with your journey to wherever you want to go. Once I believed in myself, then I started working here. So I'm giving that to the people that come in here. I want to give them that hope too, that you can do it, because I did it too.
My name is Wen Nguyen, and I'm an MSW intern here at Project Kinship. I thought that I was going to die in addiction, and I was actually okay with that because I didn't know how to live life. I didn't know how to get out of it, and so the only thing I saw for myself was dying, with a needle in my arm, and or dying in prison. Since I started working at Project Kinship and I get to see our participants come in and I see their faces light up, and to see and hear them talk about being excited about going to school, see them going to school, and it really, it touches my heart because I remember being in that place of not having any hope, and now I see they're coming here and they're willing to try and they want to better themselves and they want to give back.
When I think about hope, no matter how difficult life gets, no matter how deep of a valley you're in, that there's always a way out. And that way out is always with people who walk with you during your roughest times. We envision a world where hope lives.
And the cycle of despair ends.
Hope lives here.
Hope lives here.
Hope lives here.
Get involved and make a difference.
Go to projectkinship.org to learn more. I'm kidding. I'll finish soon. When we talk about mental health, we know that when people have high trauma, high risk factors, less protective factors, they don't have secure attachment, it's a challenge. In our work, we have all the programming, the academics, we've got multidisciplinary teams, but what I will say that is healing always comes through compassion and care. I'll end with this one story. 4 weeks ago, USC has a Tri-County conference, and they asked me to talk about trauma. And as I was walking out of my house that morning, I looked into my son Noah's room, and I don't know if you ever do this, I just stared at him, and the first thing I was thinking, you're still asleep. And I remember him being 5 years old, and now he's 15, and I was like, time goes so fast. And as I was driving, a thought came to my mind. When I was younger, I got all these tattoos all over me, and Noah never asked me one time in 15 years about his dad's tattoos, which I think is a little bit weird. Don't you think that your son would ask you, Dad, why'd you do that? Or what is that? He's never asked me. And I think the reason why that is because he's only seen a version of a father that's healed. He's never seen me on drugs. He's never seen me incarcerated. He's only seen a version of me that's received support and care. And so that really is a vision for all of us in this room, is to be able to heal and provide that version of ourselves that is our best version, especially for the people that we serve. So thank you very much.